2014, discuss addition to the municipal building. Now, on February 28th of this year, we met with the sewage, the municipal sewage, and I was there, Cindy was there, and Frank was there, and everybody was invited to it. We met and they went over all the plans that they had. They had plans for trying to rearrange on the inside, and the subject had come up on adding an addition out the back. Basically, we don't have enough room in the building right now for everything that's going on. So we have to make a decision. Do we want to try to go ahead and add on to this building and have ourselves more space there, put the municipal sewage authority there, and then to have more room for us in the front here as a growing township? Or do we just throw them out altogether? That's basically your two choices. So what we've done is we've gone ahead and got the schematic design first, and then we've actually had an architectural service give us some idea, correct, on what it would cost for the next step if we decide to do it. And the next, that could be the total build out for that corner back here. The next step is what, 12,800 to come up with plans for it, correct?
That's correct, Amy.
Wow.
So we got to see what all the supervisors feel. Do you want to keep the municipal authority in the building here with us? Or do you, and we can't ask the municipal authority to build out, okay? It's our building, we would have to build out.
Or what?
We build out.
Or what?
And we can't ask them to pay for it, okay? It's our building. Because you can't do that.
Who said?
That's what you can't do that. That's what the law is. You can't ask them to pay for it.
What law?
We can raise their rent.
What law?
Because they said they will not pay to build out your building.
Oh, they
It's
will
not
not
their
pay.
building. They're renting a building off of us.
Okay, and they refused to do it. That's not correct.
That is
You're
not
correct.
true. They did not refuse to do it. They said, we understand there's an additional cost for the build out of the municipal authority. We cannot pay for it, but we understand that you will raise our rent to accommodate for the cost.
Over 40 years.
Whatever, it's still going to be our building.
I'm going to say something. I think it would be very nice if our municipal authority could stay here. However, I want to make it perfectly clear. They're not the only ones that are expanding. We are expanding as well here in our township, number one. Number two, if we have $275,000 to put an addition on the building, we shouldn't be spending it. We should be spending it on our roads.
We've already spent almost $1 million on roads right now this
Doesn't make
year.
any difference. The
And
roads are
wait a
so
second,
bad.
Elizabeth, my whole point is there are other things that need to be addressed in the townships. Roads are important, but you didn't even bother to come to this meeting to discuss it with the
Sorry, our
municipal
son
authority.
was having surgery. That's
And-
why I didn't bother.
And there was
Shame
other
on you,
too that you haven't bothered to come to too, Elizabeth.
Oh, really?
And, yeah, do you want to list them all? I don't want to get into that right now.
But
We
you
can
wanna
do that
list them
later
all?
on. We can do that later on. But the bottom line is,
List them.
we need to sit down and talk with the municipal authority and see what's going on and decide whether we want to move forward with this or not.
Okay,
Okay, but
you're
you,
here to speak about it tonight, and I'm going to give you my opinion.
okay,
You
go
said
ahead.
it's-
I'm going to ask this
discuss
right
it.
now. I'll let you be the first. I want all 5 supervisors to give their opinion of what we
That's
do with
fine.
this, and you can.
I would like to finish. Okay? My opinion is this: we are expanding and we're going to need the space. I have no problem with the municipal authority putting an addition on our building at their expense. However, I would not want it to preclude our ability to expand in the future, because we're running out of space as well, and in 5 or 8 years, we're going to need more space. This might block us from anything that we might want to do, even if they paid for the entire thing. But again, before we put out any money, I want to make my position perfectly clear. If they cannot do it, we cannot do it. Simple as that. That's all I
Can
have
I
to
just say this?
Cindy,
If in 5 years we realize that we're out of space, we can ask them to leave if we pay for that addition.
Say that again?
If we can make a 5-year lease, we can make a 10-year lease. If we realize that we are out of room, we can ask them. But this gives us room in the front of the building to expand into. They're using a whole corner over there. It gives us room over by the tax collector's office.
My position is clear.
Okay, Cynthia, if that's your position on it, Frank, I'd like to hear what you have to say about it.
I think we ought to go ahead with it because the building is our building, it's not municipal authority building. You can't ask somebody a tenant to build their own house. You rent a house, same you rent a building.
Well, Tom, what's your opinion on it, Tom?
Very little about real estate.
I think the Municipal Authorities Act precludes them from paying for real property like that unless it's their own, in their own name. So I can't disagree if the authority said that they can't pay for it. But at that meeting, I couldn't attend either. Did they talk about what rent they would be willing to consider to help these payments? Like if we borrow for it and our payments are, I know you can borrow $250,000 for probably $1,800 a month. What would they be willing to have an additional $1,800 a month rent increase additional? I mean, to cover the mortgage itself. They can
What
pay.
about the utilities?
Well, wait, they can pay unlimited rent. There's no law in the Authority Act that says they have to have cheap rent. So if we get a X amount of a loan for X amount of dollars, would they be willing to up their payment?
I think that's a question that we need to have.
Okay, well, that's all.
We didn't have what the price of the, in addition, would cost at that time, Tom, so we didn't know exactly what that was.
It's important with these two that.
If they're willing to pay a portion of that increase, are we willing to do it? Are we willing to do it, or would you willing to consider it?
For sure.
What, if they only pay a portion?
Well, I didn't get to talk to them about the rent. If we know we have no cost now, roughly, say it's $275, we get a price on what the monthly payment will be and see what part of it they're willing to absorb. That's how I have to base my decision on it.
What about the utilities? Right now, we're getting $500 a month. I don't know that it even covers the utilities, well, it probably does, but we're not making anything on it. We don't have the space.
No, but we didn't build out, this building was going to be built in this shape, in this configuration, whether they were here or not. It's been a convenience to have them here, but, you know, as we get crowded, if we get a $2,000 a month mortgage on that, maybe they can absorb it just like that.
I mean, I will say they had said that one of the buildings that they were looking into, the rent was $2,000. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that they're
Well,
willing
let's
to.
at least find that out.
But you have to find the numbers. Now, do we go forward with this design so that we can have it ready to go to bid then, one way or the other?
No, I read that the architect is saying that in his best estimation, it's going to be roughly in that price range. He says that 11,000 you were talking about spending, that's just for him to prepare bids, or prepare drawings and specifications so you can actually go to bid.
Actually put it to bid,
So
find out what the price
let's
would be.
find out what, assuming he's close, say it's in that $250,000 or $275,000 range, we can now get a cost on our financing for it, talk to the authority and see if they're interested. They might say, no, we were thinking just another couple $100, that's all we can afford. Then we know the answer to that question. Well, I wasn't there, I didn't.
Well, why don't we make it a point of a meeting where you can be there, so you can.
Can't hear you.
That's rude.
Let's have
I can't hear you, Cindy, at all.
Let's have another meeting where we can get everybody here.
What did she say? We can't
This is-
hear.
This is one of the problems with this all along, though, is
Thank you.
they've been asking for this for the past year or so, what's going to happen. And we finally had a meeting, but let's get together and have a meeting where we can have all 5 supervisors there.
We
No,
didn't
you know
hear
what?
which
Public
was
comment
said.
period's over right now. We're moving on, we're talking right at the moment,
We
okay?
didn't hear. We didn't hear.
Why can't
No,
they?
because this was on the agenda, you could have discussed it earlier.
There's someone in the
And
back
you know
who's
what?
not here.
No, Elizabeth, didn't you hear what I read?
She
earlier?
didn't
I said,
talk
look,
into the mic. We
public
didn't
comment
hear.
period is over now. We're
Hold on.
Well, talking to the
moving
mic.
on with it. The public.
comment. We can't hear what Cindy is saying.
Okay, go ahead, Cindy, say it into the microphone.
When she's
Whatever you
talking,
say.
we can't hear a word.
So go ahead and say, I think what we need to do is we need to have another meeting with the municipal authority where all 5 supervisors can be there, so that we can go ahead and talk and discuss this stuff. So we'll table this then.
Go ahead, Buggy.
Can everybody agree to be at the next meeting?
Depends on when it is.
Andy, and the other thing, I'll believe you, if you talk to them and they say, yeah, we could do an extra 2,000, I mean, I'll believe, I don't have to hear that from them with my own ears. If you tell me.
We didn't give them any price because we didn't know any price at that time.
All right, well, that's
And we
why-
didn't know
All right,
what
it's
you would be
important.
able to,
We need to know, we got a rough price, we need to know what they can contribute.
well, let's have a meeting and sit down and talk with them then. So do we table this or do we move forward with it?
Let's set a meeting and talk to them and then.
I was gonna say, quite simply, I could just contact the municipal authority, talk to them and say, listen, we've talked about these additions. What is the municipal authority willing to put monthly in rent charges towards?
I'd like to talk to them.
Or the board should have a number and say, listen, we're not gonna accept anything less than that, I think.
What,
Microphone, please.
mine's not working. I don't.
Well, let's get microphones instead of spending all this money for refurbishing his building.
Yes, that's right.
Why don't you set up that meeting and I would like to attend as well.
That's
It
fine.
doesn't matter, as long as it's in the morning, I can be there.
I want to read it to them.
We'll send out an email to everyone. whoever
Send it
can
out to
attend.
everybody and let's try to get all 5 supervisors to argue. Okay.
Come on, Bob.
I got
Now,
a
the
question.
next one then is,
There's someone in the back, Buggy has a question.
we're not taking questions right
Why
now.
not?
The public
There's
comment
no
period is
reason.
over.
Oh, come on,
Elizabeth,
Andy.
come on, you know what, this is how meetings last till 3 o'clock in the morning because, now, if you had a time to ask a question earlier, we're moving on.
Well, you wasn't
The next
talking about this
resolution-
before.
The next resolution is number 96, 2014. Set a date.
Hey, because you said number, don't give me the right to,
Excuse me.
yeah,
we're moving
excuse
on right
me.
now.
I'm talking about the issue that we're talking
We're
about.
moving on right now.
No,
Yes, we are.
wait
No,
a second.
no.
All I want to know is,
Please,
I
sit
want
down.
to know how
Sit
close,
down. We are
how
not
close
talking-
it is to buying a office.
We are moving on. We're
Because
setting
that
a
would be
date and
the annual
time for
building,
revising an
police
ordinance to fine
department, and
penalties
the
for
sewage
snow
authority
removal
over
and
there.
place on streets and roads.
Yeah, go
Are
ahead,
we gonna
talk.
have this in July? Are we gonna have this in July?
Have what? Have what?
Didn't you listen?
Couldn't hear you.
Oh, that's rude.
I read it, you should have read it with me.
Well, I
It's on the next motion right now.
Sounded like something.
Set a date and
No,
time.
don't
for
talk to her that
revising
way.
ordinance For deposits and places. of-
Shame on you.
We're gonna do this in July.
You're voted out.
We're gonna do this in July.
Yes.
We pay your wages. Amen, sister.
Motion on this for July. You know what, we're gonna go to executive session now, we're gonna adjourn the meeting, not adjourn it, we're gonna just recess it, we're gonna go to executive session. We have several things to discuss in executive session.
And what are
And I was gonna save it till.
What are they? What are they? We need to know.
I'm gonna give it to you in a second here, as we're going to it. Okay, in executive session, we've got personnel matters and contractual matters to discuss.
What contract?
Contracts,
For what?
contracts.
One of the issues was
For Klinger Park and
Klinger Park.
any other, we're gonna go to executive session now.
Executive session,
Meeting is recessed.
Whoa.
Everybody now can sit back. We're going to executive session right now.
Are those the only two issues? The taxpayers have a right to
With
know,
the,
and so do I.
There's personnel issues and there's 2 contracts
So there's 2 contracts and 2 personnel issues?
and personnel issues.
Okay.
It makes common sense. If you're gonna buy this property over there, why spend $250,000 on an addition when you can put a new police department over there, which is outgrown this one, and put the municipal authority over there? And keep this strictly for the